Amigos, what's up? It's Monday. Beautiful day today here in Montreal. I don't know about you guys all around, but we have a big show. Big show ahead of us. We have the creators joining us from Code 45. So that's going to be a good, fun hangout. But guys, before we get to that, Comic.Dood Face, how you been?
I've been good, man.
Yeah.
I had a good week, man. Recently went to a comic book warehouse this past Saturday and came away with a nice stack and a Grail ×2.
Yes, you did.
I'm pretty happy right now.
I saw that, man. If anyone's following Comic.Dood on Instagram, he's been parading his find, man. He's
have been.
But yeah, man. Face, how you been, man?
You know me, I'm always good, bro. I'm always good.
There you go. You were on with Newbie last night.
I was. It was a good time. Good time. We did the new comic book day stuff, and he gave us a rating from Moon Knight that, we're just not gonna get into that. We'll hope for better luck next week with him.
Right?
Maybe.
But yeah, so just to let everybody know, Hyper and Keys will not be joining us tonight. So tonight it's the three of us joined by the two of the creators from Code 45. But before we get to them, let's just say a quick hello to some people here in the chat. Now, I know it's 7:06, so this is considered kind of early for some. Right?
This is early, man. Yeah, I won't lie. I'm a little surprised.
But yeah,
he was a little anxious today, a little antsy.
Yeah. Hey, I'm super excited, man. I'm pumped.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, we have Uncanny Swag who is here. He took gold, but Michael Baker's saying he wants gold, silver, bronze, copper. Man, he's even going for adamantium. Look at you, bro.
There we go. He threw in the bub, so you know what? He gets it.
Yep. Yeah. Tim, man. Yo, thank you for being here, dude. We got Hero with a question mark. What's up, yo?
What's going on, Paul?
Yeah. David Mason's here hanging out, man. No, Code 45 does not mean that Hyper is on time, like I said.
Never happened.
He won't be here, but moving forward, we have Tony P in the house. Yo, we can't wait too. Trust me, I am trying to get through this just so we can discuss this book. But Comic Chic's in the house too. Comic Chic, I actually want to message you. I'm gonna message you after the show. Radiant Blakk, issue 16, 1/25. Go see that thing. It's gorgeous.
Man, when you guys showed it to me, I was blown away.
Yeah, yo, Bricks is in the house. Oh, okay, so guys, I'm just letting you know. April 18, and we've spoken about this already before, but we actually have a community hangout show that's going to be taking place. So we're going to have members of the community from both YouTube and those who have not made their YouTube debuts will be joining us as well. So it's really a community show, a big hangout, and
a good time.
Bricks just might be joining us, man. So I'm super excited about that one. And so who else did we miss? We said hi to Uncanny Swag. Azorus Tiger is here.
Azorus.
Yeah, man. Yo, thanks for joining us. Okay, guys. I don't want to keep them backstage too long.
Right. Bring them in.
Yep. But in case anybody here who is watching right now, whether it be live or on the replay, hasn't had a chance yet, I do want to show you guys very quickly. Code 45 is currently available on FOC. So guys, today is the deadline. You can go and pick it up. It's going to be in shops May 11th. See right here. There you go. Code 45. We're going to discuss this book. I'm super excited about it. It's got my hometown city within this book. So here we go.
Make sure you get them pre-orders in.
Yep. Yep. But guys, without further ado, let's bring them in. We have Benjamin Hunting and we've got Angela Hodge. How's it going, guys?
Hi.
Hello.
Good.
Yep. Well, first off, thank you guys a million times for being here with us. We're super excited to discuss this book. Guys, like I said, Montreal is the featured city in this book. Is that where you're from?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're actually both from the eastern townships of Quebec, but I've been in Montreal since the late 90s.
Yeah.
And Angie defected to Toronto about the same time.
Mississauga, represent the saga.
Oh, no way.
Oh, snap. Yeah. Well, we actually have some people that are watching right now that we know are within that area as well. And they're collectors. Yeah, so again, can't stress it enough. Definitely grab this book. But okay, so let's speak about it. First off, how did this idea come about? Dragons, Montreal metro system, which is a subway system everywhere else.
So when I first moved to the city, like most people, when you're in Cégep or college and whatnot, hey Tony, what's up?
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in the metro. A lot of time, maybe too much time. It's the best way to get around the city. And in the winter, you don't want to go outside and be on the bus. It sucks. So I was also involved in the rave scene at that time, and over a very long period, I had this idea for the opening line of the book, which is there are dragons in the tunnels. I don't know why. It just came into my head and it percolated, and I started to kind of populate this cast of characters who were kind of half pulled from the rave scene that I was involved in and half pulled from the world of metro drivers, which I didn't really know a lot about, but I kind of just in my mind romanticized. And I was like, okay, these guys, they're underground, and girls, they're underground all day, all night. Things can get weird. Maybe they start to develop a bit of a psychosis. Maybe they start to have a drug habit, and maybe they eventually can't tell the difference between those two things. And what happens to your world when the accepted reality is no longer something you share with other people? And that was kind of the starting off point for the book.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome story, and it's funny you mentioned that you were in the rave scene, because as we saw from the Thummy, we saw the trailer to the book, and we had seen there was a rave vibe going, and I'm like,
I was liking that. Yeah, I saw that.
That's a track from back when I used to write tracks. So.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. So that's an original.
That's an original, yeah. It's easier from a copyright perspective to just use your own stuff.
Makes sense.
There you go. You don't gotta pay anybody.
Back in our youth, Ben used to play these raves in Toronto and crash on my floor. Remember that in the basement apartment?
Yeah,
they're good times.
It was an oasis in a sea of chaos.
Yes. Anyways, those days are long behind us.
Yeah. I still have some friends who are doing it, but for me, it's just I'm glad that I'm not up at 4 or 5 in the morning about to start work anymore. That's rough.
Yeah, it is, man. It's hard to get back from that.
Yeah,
no, for sure. And so it's a 5-issue miniseries. Like I said, based out of Montreal. Are there any landmarks that maybe might make an appearance within this one?
Yeah, there's stuff that's so the time period of the book was important to us too. We said it in the early 2000s, and there were a bunch of reasons for that. But I think part of it was, for me, it's the time when I was first getting to know the city the best, and so the landmarks, the architecture, the way the city's vibe was in that time is kind of really impressed on my brain. So there are restaurants and buildings from that period that thanks so much.
Thank you.
that you won't find in Montreal anymore, unfortunately. Stuff that was, the wrecking ball took it down, and now you've got condos pretty much.
Yeah.
But it was. You'll see if you were around in Montreal at that time, you'll notice stuff from that period, and even with the metro trains, working with Joe and Ange, trying to figure out how we could, because the way they look now is not how they looked back then. Finding the old uniforms, finding the right colors to use for each of the stations before they were kind of modified or renovated as they are now. All that stuff was tough, because it's right at that era where the internet was around, but not everyone was using it. So pictures are not as easy to find as they would be today.
Yeah, no, it's insane, because even as someone who literally took the bus and the metro system, subway system, daily as a teenager, it's changed so much within the years. It doesn't even look nor feel the same. Everything has changed. The underground here is it's a city on its own practically.
And one thing that Ben often talks about is that each subway station was designed by a specific artist or a specific architect. So each subway stop looks incredibly different.
Yeah.
And Joe had to do a ton of research. Joe's the artist, by the way. He's not here. He's downstairs. He's actually working on issue 5 right now.
Awesome.
But yeah, every single subway stop looks different. So he had to do some major research to get that correct. Yeah. And we had we still had people going I don't know if that's exactly correct. I remember it being a little different, and we're like, dude, we put a little bit of, a little bit of style, a little bit of interpretation on it. They're not 100%.
There were some real train spotters on our
Yeah.
early. So we used Kickstarter to fund the early issues and all the issues. But early on, there were some people who, when we would post up art, they'd be like, "Hey, that's not exactly how that train looks in that station, or that sign is in the wrong place." And I don't know how they know that like 20 years later. But
Yeah.
they were. It was interesting. We're not exactly. I didn't want to tell them that maybe dragons aren't real either, and kind of crush their world. But
I destroyed them.
I like the fact though that you guys went out of your way though to do that kind of research and to put that into your comic, right? So
For sure.
that makes it special for sure.
Well, if you don't do it right, you're gonna get people telling you on page 3 it's not in the right spot.
And two, like, we really wanted Montreal to be a character, and one of Montreal, you were talking about Montreal's landmarks either. I didn't even think of it, but the metro system really is unique.
Yes.
You can go over the entire world and you won't find a station, or sorry, a system that's like Montreal's, with the rubber tires, the quietness, and that kind of kitschy 60s vibe that it had back then, because it was still using those original 1967 Bombardier cars.
Yep.
And everything is that kind of molded plastic with the orange and the blue, and it's really a time capsule.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I remember the first time I went to New York and went on a subway there, I was astounded by how loud it was, how everything was shaking, how the lights were flickering.
Yep. Benjamin, it's funny you say that because I was mortified. I know that everyone talks myths about the New York rats in the subway system. Holy cow! Like, it was a monster, and I was, anyways. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned Kickstarter. This initially was through Kickstarter.
So when we first I had the idea probably 2018. Angela, was that?
Yeah, it was probably around there.
And I went to Angela and I asked her, because Angela is, in addition to being the designer and the letter of this book, she's also an artist in her own stead. She's done children's books illustrations, other illustrations in the past. And so I went to her and I'm like, hey, I had this idea for a book. Would you be interested in drawing it? And she's like, no. but
not that the subject matter wasn't interesting. It's just, it was out of my wheelhouse, man. Like doing sequential art, it's a whole other thing. And if you're not, if that's not your thing, then you're going to crash and burn. And I just happen to live with a comic book artist. So I'm like, might be better suited.
So Joe's he's worked on Transformers, a Street Fighter, and a bunch of stuff for Udon, and he's been doing it for years. And I was very lucky because he was interested in the project. Once Angela hard sold him on the idea, he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And we didn't think about Kickstarter or crowdfunding at all. Joe's been in the business a long time, but this is my first book. It's Angela's first book, first comic book, and so we weren't sure how to proceed. What we did decide to do was create the first issue completely in black and white, and then start shopping it to publishers. And we went to probably, I would say, 17 or 18 publishers in the first round that we had picked that we felt, they released books that are like Code 45 or that would be of interest to them, Yeah. And we heard back from 2 or 3 almost right away, which was really surprising. But Scout moved really quickly. Scout Comics is our eventual publisher. Yeah. And they said, look, we love the book. The only thing is it's got to be in color. We can't do a black and white book. Mm-hmm. So if you can find someone to color it, that's great. Luckily, Joe was friends with someone named Josh Perez, who's a great colorist, and he took over from there. But they also suggested, hey, guys, I'm working really hard on this. You got another 4 or 5 issues to go. Why don't you look at Kickstarter as a funding option? Obviously, Scout's selling the book. We retain full ownership. It's a creator-owned company in that sense. Yeah. But there's no advance or anything like that. It's not how the publishing works. So they knew it would be years before we were on shelves to get the book done. So that's when we went to Kickstarter, and we ran 3 campaigns. The first one was just for the first issue, and then we bundled up issues 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in kind of a mega issue, and we did it that way. And that took another 2 years of funding to do.
Yeah, it's a ton of work. I don't think anybody actually tells you when you're doing a Kickstarter how much work it's going to be.
Yeah, it's wild, and you have to learn it. Like we decided to do Kickstarter a month and a half before the campaign launched, which is a terrible idea. Like we never do that. you need realistically like 5 or 6 months to build up an audience and whatnot. And so we kind of came into it backwards, and we built up our audience after the first campaign. But we were very lucky in that we had some good advice from people who've done it before, and we had good support from friends and family who were able to go in right away, like on day one, hour one, and give us like, a 20 or 30 person bump. And that really helps get the algorithm going. People start noticing your book, and hopefully other people are interested.
Yeah. Now, I know FaceTyme has a question for you guys, but before we get to it, Hyper Combo Comics, who is part of the comic Kingpins but couldn't be here today, he actually just mentioned within the chat, Angela, I actually got a commission from Joe at the Toronto Fan Expo because I am a big Street Fighter fan.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I wonder what character he got. If it was a Street Fighter character, he'd probably remember.
Wow. That's
yeah,
good.
Joe's been around. Like he started in. I don't mean that negatively.
I mean that too.
I am his girlfriend of 40 years. But yeah, no, he started in the early 2000s, again doing Transformers, and then he moved on to. He basically did all the nostalgia stuff from our childhood. So he was doing like G.I. Joe, He-Man, all of those really cool like old cartoon shows we used to watch. And then he got scooped up by Hunting Comics, and now he's doing Street Fighter, and he's been doing Street Fighter since I think around 2005, 2006, somewhere around there. Yeah. So he's got a pretty big fan base out there.
Awesome.
So that's awesome, man. Toronto Fan Expo. All right, I'll have to talk to him about that.
There you go. Face.
Yeah, so I gotta ask you guys. You mentioned that you wanted the city to be a character in itself. So my question for you guys is, as the only American on the panel, I'm just curious, how much of a detriment would it be going into the book with no knowledge of the city at all or anything like that? Like,
I don't think it's a problem at all. The way the city is incorporated into the book is it's the setting of the book, but it's also it informs the culture of the people who are living there. And I think that if anything, it's a gateway into Montreal. And I think that anyone could pick up this book and enjoy it because of that.
Yeah,
for sure. And also like, we use kind of French sparingly. Most of the book is in English, so it's pretty easy to pick up on. And any small words that we use in French, we might add like a translation, or you can just contact me and I'll give you a pronunciation.
We were one thing that was cool about the book, not too spoilery, but we were able to, I wanted Quebecois culture to be represented in addition to the architecture. So we were able to get in touch with a Quebecois musician from who I really admired in the 90s and early 2000s. And they actually licensed us some of their work to include in the book. And it blew me away because this is someone I really admired, and they were excited about the project. And they're like, "Hey, we'll do it, but you got to send us copies." And I'd love to see a print of like any of the pages that it's used on. And it was really exciting to work with them on that, and something I totally didn't expect.
Yeah. Hey, Pacino Comics always wanted to back a Kickstarter, but it's too late. It's closed. It's fine. Bring it off FOC, bro. And unfortunately, and I will have to put this out there, we missed some awesome covers, guys. Awesome covers on Kickstarter only. But Benjamin and Angela were telling us prior that there is, I believe, with Scouts Comics, a certain cover.
There's a 1B cover that Scout's going to have on their web store, I guess, when it went on May 11th. And Josh Perez did that. He drew and colored that one for us.
Awesome.
And it's got a really different vibe. It's much more of more on the rave side of things, less on the dark, gloomy dragon despair side of things, I guess you could put it.
Yeah. Oh.
Big shout out to Josh, man. Like, he's an amazing colorist.
Yeah.
Great guy.
And he did his own rave experience.
He's a big raver. He's a big raver in his past. He's a big raver. And he used to do Transformers back with Joe in the day, and he's amazing. So check him out. Check him out online. Go check out Josh Perez.
So I got the next question for you guys. I saw the title there, Code 45. Is there any kind of meaning behind that you guys can give us without spoiling too much? Or because I kind of have my own speculations, but
what is your speculation?
Well, I used to come from the healthcare field myself, so like when I hear Code 45, I think like the 10 codes, right? Like 1045. and depending what area you're from or which kind of service, like that could be like a sudden death, right? So
Well,
that's where I kind of went towards.
you're not far off. There is a non-spoilery answer to that, and that's in the Montreal metro system. They use codes to communicate with. It's weird because you figure they would do it one-on-one, but to communicate with workers, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Over the loudspeaker, you'll hear like code 10, and then they'll tell you the line, or code 25, and you're in a station, and if you're just a rider, you don't necessarily know what that means. But all the drivers, workers, maintenance people, it'll mean like, okay, we need overtime. We have a problem in a tunnel. We have a tunnel that's currently out of service for like a certain amount of time. And so, see, we got people guessing already, but we wanted to kind of like, that's another interesting thing about Montreal. I don't think you often hear that. I think like other subways are more advanced and they actually just call the driver in the train and they're like, hey, something's up. But Montreal, it's loudspeakers.
No way.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So we kind of incorporated that into the book as well.
I feel like maybe what ended up happening is they had too many drivers calling in sick and they couldn't guess the driver, so they're like, you know what? We're gonna let everybody know.
So, but as to what Code 45 itself actually is, that's kind of one of the mysteries of the book. Like, it's really not clear, even for people who are working in the metro, as to what that means.
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to see what that means.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited to read this book. Now, 5-issue mini, the main characters. Is there a main character? Is it the dragon? Are we following someone?
So the main character is Vanessa. She's in her early 20s. She's just started working for the metro system, maybe like 6 months before, and she got in because of her uncle. He was like a longtime veteran driver, and kind of put in a good word for her. And she's just moved to the city from maybe a smaller town outside of Montreal, and she doesn't really know a lot of people. Like she has her roommate Pierre-Yves, and that's pretty much it. So she's trying to make friends at work. She falls into the rave scene because Pierre-Yves' a DJ, and so for her, she starts the whole Code 45 experience and the whole rumors about dragons being in the tunnels. She starts hearing it's all about the night shift. They're the ones who are always talking about this. Okay. She doesn't really know much about it because when she's training, it's all on the days. And then eventually her life at work and her experiences in the rave scene and her own family's history, they all kind of combine together about it. There's a secret from her family's past that's tied into all of this. And she has to figure out for herself what's going on. And she also has to figure out what's real and what's not, in the same way that all those other people, who are experiencing, whether it's dragons or whether it's their own hallucinations, are trying to decide what's real for themselves.
No, wow. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, no, it's really
looking forward to this. Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, Montreal always sets the standard. It's awesome. Like I said, most people here do know that I'm from Montreal, and so is Hyper Combo Comics, who is part of the comic Kingpins, and it's just it's cool and refreshing to see a different city take center stage in a comic book, because so often, like we were saying prior, New York, San Francisco, Chicago.
Yeah, we're telling our own stories, right? And to take those stories and project them somewhere we're not familiar with. You're not going to have not just the authenticity, but the truth of the story itself is not necessarily going to be portrayed as accurately as it could be. And you run the risk of genericizing your story to make it fit into a template that is maybe more familiar. But I've always felt, you can really make a connection with a story, even if it's set somewhere new for you, even if it's set in a time, not just a place, but also a time that maybe you're not familiar with. And the truth of those stories always rings through more clearly. And when we're talking about a story like this one, which is really ultimately about what's real and what's not, if I'm not able to get truth out there, then it's not going to work. It's not going to take off. So keeping it in Montreal and making the Montreal connection was really very, very important. And the nice thing about Scout is when we came to it, I'll tell you, I'm not going to throw shade on anybody, but we approached some Canadian publishers as well. And it was only American publishers that were interested in our book.
Wow.
And
really?
Yeah.
I was we approached most of the publishers were either in America, Canada, or the UK. And the strongest response we had was from the United States. And the open-mindedness of those publishers looking at a story that's completely outside the ballpark of what they normally do. I was really impressed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We actually have some questions coming in. So being from Montreal, does your comic need to be bilingual due to Bill 101? Hey, listen.
Hey, we kept the English. The English text is very small.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
we
50%
fully,
of the size.
we're fully compliant with Bill 101 at all times.
There you go. That's pretty funny.
If we
But,
show McDonald's, it's McDonald.
oh
right?
no,
It's about the
yeah.
head pronunciation, the internal pronunciation.
but are we getting tabarnak in the comic
Oh,
at any point?
I think we are.
I-
I think we are.
I don't recall a tabarnak.
Maybe we aren't. I don't know.
I remember a C, an ST.
Yeah, we got a lot of ST in there.
Yeah,
Well, now I gotta ask what the
I
fuck
know.
that is.
Sounds like nothing.
So in Quebec, most curse words are based on the Catholic Church. So words that seem innocuous, like that in English would mean like the Holy Host or a temple or a tabernacle, like all of that stuff becomes very rude when used in that context.
Exactly, man. But hold on, we have AOA saying, "I never speak French. Trust me, I do it on the daily." But yes, okay. So Hero's got a question. Any of the characters chasing the dragon?
Probably
All of
not how
them.
you're thinking. It's not that kind of addiction. It's more of a hallucinogenic addiction than a scary 90s Kurt Cobain style addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out whether it's all in their head or if it's really happening, kind of thing.
Well,
right?
a lot of those people on the night shift who hear about these dragons, they become so terrified of going to work, they start to self-medicate, right?
Okay.
And it creates this negative feedback loop. Like, is what they're seeing, or is what they're seeing because of the self-medication?
Yeah.
When you get to that point, how do you break out of that? It becomes a spiral. And if everyone around you is in the same spiral, you can't reach out to anyone as a life preserver and get pulled out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, I am beyond excited for this one. I don't know if everyone here is aware within the chat as well, but there's also a trailer that shows you a little more in depth that is also on Previewsworld. If you're not already, you could also go follow the Code 45 page on Instagram. Just remind me, what's the handle again? It's at Code 45 _.
It's _ comic, right, Angie?
So,
she runs the account.
That sounds right.
You can also go to
Code 45 _ comic.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
Code 45 _ comic.
And if you go to code-45.com, we've got a page with actually we've got a ton of info there. It takes you to a page where we did an in-depth blog series about the making of it, not only the book but also the Kickstarter during a pandemic.
Yeah.
And we have a small 5-part podcast. They're about 20 minutes each, where we talked about inspiration, world building, how we ended up working together, like over distance, and what our takeaways were from the project. And the trailer is also linked there. And there's a link to the Scout site as well, where you can pick up the book. I'm not sure if they have the pre-order up on the site yet for Scout, but there's a bunch of merchandise there that they have up.
Okay.
So I got one last question.
Sure.
So I know this is just coming out now, but do you guys have any other plans for like future, projects or anything like that? Or
I mean, always yes, but
I think so.
Yeah, it's just tough to we're really, like Joe is actually physically drawing the 5th issue right now. We have a handful of pages left and it's going to the printer for fulfilling the last Kickstarter. All the other issues are out there, but the 5th issue, we've kind of been taking a little bit more time with it.
Mm-hmm.
So once that's done, it's like a big weight's off your shoulders, and then you're kind of mentally free to allow yourself the luxury of other projects.
Yeah.
Fair. That's fair.
Well, I will say, we've had so much fun working together. I mean, like Ben said, he and I have known each other for 30 years. Joe and I have been together 20 years. So it's been a really cool experience, the three of us working together, and then bringing Josh in. We're such a small, tight-knit team, but it's been awesome. It could have gone either way, man. Like working with your partner, you never know how it's going to go.
But if you can't do this kind of thing with your friends, I mean, why do it? Like if you don't enjoy,
good point. If
you don't enjoy creating something with the people you're creating it with, it's honestly not worth doing, in my opinion. You have to all be not just on the same page, but you have to all be there with the same spirit and the same openness and generosity while you're trying to create something. Like I came in as the writer, never having written a comic book before, right? And I get paired up with Joe, who's been drawing comic books for 20 years. And it was like I went to college over these last 2 years in how to make a comic book, how to, taken. I've worked. I come from kind of a bit of a film background, and obviously I'm a professional writer on my day job. I do a lot of freelancing, magazines, newspapers, and that. But this is taking what's in my head, putting it on a page, and making that narrative work. That was completely new to me, and I had to be open to understanding what works, what doesn't, and molding the ideas that I had into something that would translate onto the page. And like Joe's patience and Angela as well, like with the lettering and also the design of the book. Like I didn't even understand page turns, or spreads, like how to use those effectively in a story. They were able to educate me on that. So like there's nowhere else I can get that kind of thing, that kind of patience and that kind of expertise, and just to be able to ask those questions and have them explain over and over and over again.
Well, I find that the script layout, right? Like you weren't even sure how to lay out like a comic book script.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, let me send you one, and you can use that as a template. And then he kind of went from there. It was truly like going to comic book school. Like he kind of took you under his wing and taught
and we were really lucky. We had a great editor at Scout, Andrea Molinari, and he did some excellent, not just work in kind of sculpting, the refinement of what was on the page, but he, towards the end of the book, he had some amazing story suggestions. And being able to be open to that, like if 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have been. But like having grown as a writer over time and collaborating, you come to respect and appreciate someone else's perspective on your own work. Like the idea of ownership is such a weird thing. Like you really want it to be the best possible story it can be, and you don't want to close yourself off to those opportunities. And I'm glad that we did this now and not 10 years ago when I was still maybe not ready to be that open.
And it's refreshing to hear that you guys have that chemistry, and forget hearing, you could also see it here. You know what I mean? You guys clearly know each other from way back. But with chemistry like that, I wish you guys the best. And I do hope that we do get more projects out of you. I'm looking forward to this read. Before we wrap it up, though, FaceTyme, I believe, has one more question.
Yeah, man. So, obviously you guys are very passionate about this project and everything like that. And it sounds like it's going to be dope. I mean, we got dragons in a subway, there's drugs involved. And I feel confident that the series is going to do very well. So my question is, do you at least have some ideas in mind or kicking stuff around already for the sequel?
I mean, it's tough. Yes is the short answer to that question. But I think that any kind of sequel to this book, I think you would see, I think it would be in a very different setting. I think you would have to come back and revisit these characters at a different point in their lives and kind of see how the events of the series affected them. And then anything that might bring them back together in the future, you're going to have, they're going to be different people. And I think that would be the most interesting way for us as creators to stay interested in the project and to feel like there's new stories to tell with these characters, but also for the readers. Like you don't necessarily want to see the same thing again. You want to see people who've grown and then understand how they got to where they are now. Thanks to the story you just read. At least in my opinion, I think that would be the most interesting way to do it.
No, actually, I mean, I completely agree. That sounds like exactly what you would want out of a sequel. So I'm looking forward to that already too now.
Well,
no pressure.
None at all.
Before we go, guys, there is one question that is very important. Benjamin, depending how you answer this, it will determine if we're all going to pre-order. Carolina Hurricanes fan or Hartford Whalers?
Okay, so it's a complicated answer. So I grew up a Whalers fan. I don't know why. Like since I was a kid, I was a Whalers fan. I think it's because everyone in my family was a Habs fan, and I think it was just like me being contrarian, and maybe I like the logo. I don't know, but the weird thing is, I mean, most people listening maybe don't know this. Hockey's not on the tip of everyone's tongue necessarily, but the Whalers ceased to exist in 1997. So they got bought by Peter Karmanos, and he moved the team to Carolina. When that happened, I stopped watching hockey for like almost 10 years. Probably until the next lockout. I watched Olympics, I watched International, World Junior, but it broke my heart. Like I feel bad for anyone who's ever lost a team that they've ever been passionate about or cheered for. Like everyone's like, the Arizona Coyotes should lose their team, their franchise sucks. It's like I feel for those fans. Like everyone, they have to hear that every single day for years.
It's rough.
But I got back into hockey after the lockout, watching the Hurricanes. So now I am a Hurricanes fan. I think Rob Brindamore. I mean, it's hard not to like that guy.
Yo,
So, yeah, it's a great logo. It's one of the best. I think one of the best logos in all of sports.
it is. See, Whalers all the way. Whalers. I think you guys are all gonna hate me. I'm going to the Habs game on Friday.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Hey, Ozzy, how's it going, man? But yes, no, hockey is huge, especially in this household, in my family. It's dude, losing the Whalers. I agree, it was rough, but Carolina, look at them now, man. They're looking good. They're looking very good.
I mean, they had a lot of good drafting. You know, if you finish badly long enough, you end up back on top, hopefully.
Yeah, no, exactly. And hold on, we have Avalanche is the correct answer.
I think the Avalanche is definitely the answer out of the West. Yeah. I don't see any other team stopping them.
Exactly. I was just complaining today. Arizona should move to Quebec. Hey, man. Angela, I'm just gonna assume go Habs go, right? That's what you're gonna say.
I'm gonna say where my Raptors fans at? Any
Oh,
fans?
there we go. Right on.
Yes, I'm a huge basketball fan. It's weird. I grew up in Quebec, but I was never really a hockey fan. I'm sorry. Please don't. Please buy our comic.
Well, so you're a Raptors fan, huh?
Yeah. But we're not going to speak sports, guys. We're going to say thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you. This was a blast.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Guys, anytime, you're more than welcome back. Like I said, even just to hang out and talk comics. But one last time before we go, guys, it's currently available on Previewsworld, on FOC. It's passing FOC right now. Today's the deadline. This hits shops May 11th, 2022. So keep an eye out. If you haven't already, call your LCS. Give them this code here at the top. Say, hey, I want to pre-order code 45. So there you go. And it's also in the description of our video. In case you're catching the replay, you can still ask for it at your LCS. So, guys, thank you once again. Benjamin, Angela, it was an absolute pleasure. And, yeah, man, anything you want to say before you go?
Had a great time. Would love to do it again sometime. And thanks for having us.
Yes, it was awesome. And maybe we'll get Joe on next time.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, pull him away from the desk.
Appreciate you guys being here. And
I know.
I'll be back.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks
so, guys, take care, and we hope to see you soon.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye. Boys, I'm getting awesome. So I've already pre-ordered. I've already pre-ordered 2 copies. Yeah. I don't know if you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can track down some of them Kickstarters.
Yeah, but who knows, guys? Speaking of which, we have a 500 subscriber giveaway show that's going to be taking place the second we hit 500 subscribers. So, guys,
well, maybe not the second.
No, it's the second, man. I'm pumped. and if I gotta just put it out there, before coming onto the show today, I'm gonna ask Comic.Dood. I think we were at 380 something subscribers. Our 250 subscriber giveaway show happened not too long ago. So 250. 500. What does that mean right now?
We're over halfway.
Yes, we are. So yes, we are halfway there, guys. But okay.
That's just
so now we're gonna kick it into overgear again. We are halfway there, but we actually have a new segment taking place.
Let's do it.
You?
Yeah, we do. I don't think I even told you guys, did I?
I think you might have mentioned it.
Well, guys, we felt that we wanted to shed some more light on comic news. So that being said,
Kingpins News Network. Nowhere close to an actual network. Idiots.
That's right, baby. We are talking comic news.
Idiots.
I love it.
I forgot my suit and tie, but
where's Hyper with his suit when we need him?
I know, right?
Reporting, yeah.
Perfect.
Nobody looks more dapper than that guy in a suit, man.
Right?
Yeah, but all right. So, guys, comic news. Now, again, this is the first time. So, if there's any mistakes, please don't roast me. Don't kill me. But we will be bringing up some slides, talking comic news. A lot has been taking place as of late. But let's shed some light on some other things that maybe not so many people are talking about, man. But to begin with, first and foremost, Batman gets a new logo, and
my favorite read.
Yeah, we somewhat give a. So yeah, man, Batman is changing logo, guys. As you can see, this is what it's been for the longest time. Batman as of issue 125 and onward. And I believe this is where they're also going to be changing the creative team.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, really?
It's going to be Chip Zdarsky and I think actually Jorge Jimenez is coming back. Or yeah. No, I don't remember who to be honest. Whoever the artist was that with James Tynion is coming back. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, they're taking over, so
yeah.
So good. I mean, Zdarsky's killing it on Daredevil, so
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
I just want to point out Empire knows his music, man. That guy.
Oh, it is Jimenez. Okay, I was right.
Was that face rocking the glamour rock hair? Yo,
so being the huge Batman fan that I am, I'm just gonna go out and say though, out of all of those logos, man, like all the writing styles for the title,
yeah,
I actually like this one the best.
Really?
I actually like this one, yeah.
No, I feel like it has no difference from the one just before it. It's literally just a fatter version of it.
It's cooler, bro.
That's a fucking Batman in
the red with the bat kind of shadow in the back, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Sorry. I just want to address the question. Pacino, who's the weather girl in tight dress? So unfortunately, Hyper couldn't be here today. But yes, man. But I don't know. I don't find it to be oh my god crazy. But hey, man, this is news. So
I mean, it's a logo. Who cares?
Yeah. But all right, man. So guys, that's part of news number one. But moving on. Hold on. Let me just bring up this slide. So Morbius sees record box office drop in second week. It dropped 73% in its second weekend, guys. I still didn't even watch it. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not surprised. I mean, a lot of people are dragging this movie through the mud. Has anyone here even seen it?
That's gonna be a no for me.
I'm gonna be honest. I have not, and I am still up in the air as to whether I'm actually gonna go see it in the theaters or not. Yeah. I mean, I'm almost perfectly content to wait for it to be released on, DVD, streaming, whatever.
I agree.
Dude, I really couldn't care less, man. Just the trailers alone and the delays and everything, it honestly did hurt the movie. Now I know a lot of people are dragging it through the mud. I've had some people come and tell me that, you know what, go in with an open mind. It's a pretty decent movie. It's not so bad.
And that's fine. It may be, but I still don't necessarily. That doesn't make me feel a need to run out and see it either. So.
No, for sure. But have you seen the meme? I think it was the Darth Maul one where it's like opens one side of the saber and it's Leto bad DC movie, and then the other one Leto bad Marvel movie. I don't know. Look, I didn't see it, so I can't judge it. So I won't do such a thing. But I do feel like maybe just fans don't want this to succeed anymore. They don't want even Sony to succeed anymore.
I think that meme is probably a bit much. I mean, seriously, I can't imagine that this is going to be comparable to like X-Men Apocalypse or I mean, that was a steaming pile of shit, So there's plenty of other shitty movies out there. So it may not be the greatest thing in the world, but I don't think that it's going to be necessarily that bad either. So
yeah, no, it was. It's one of those where I'm gonna wait, but it's already at the poor levels of the Fantastic Four reboot, which, dude, and I'm not saying this just because I want to make up stories or whatever and sound entertaining. I really don't care. The real truth behind the Fantastic Four reboot movie, I went with my cousin, man, and we were hyped. You know what I mean? We were excited to see a new Fantastic Four movie. I shit you not, and I was younger. I was way younger. Living the party life, dude. I slept. I fell asleep in the fucking movie. It was that bad, and I couldn't believe it. I woke up and I was like, man, did this really happen? It was one of the first movies I ever fell asleep in.
Oh no.
I'll be honest. I still haven't seen that one, so I've managed to dodge that bullet somehow.
Yeah, well, you did good, man. I just want to say hi to Comics and Pops, man. Yo, thanks for joining us. Dave collects, yeah, buddy. Guys, community shows coming up, man. I'm telling you, keep an eye out, man. The invites are all coming your way. But yeah, Tim, I agree, man. Poor Leto, he should just totally avoid comic-related projects, man. It ain't looking good.
Doesn't have a good track record.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay. So first thing, Jared Leto is a method actor. And regardless of what you think of method acting, just the fact that someone, needs to do that to get into character or whatever, and you want them playing fucking comic book characters, like that shit doesn't make fucking sense at all. Like,
Yeah.
It's probably not the best option right there for an actor to, take on that kind of a role.
If I'm not mistaken, because like I said, I know that Sony went and put themselves out for offers, right? Because I think they were planning on selling at one point last year, and I heard news that Apple was interested. Apparently, if Sony ever sells, all rights go automatically back to Marvel. That's an automatic. So
Really?
yeah, I heard this. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know 100% if it's true. I would do some homework on it.
Yeah.
But and I will do homework on it. It's something that I keep hearing come up within conversation. But I feel like that's a best case scenario. But
It'd be awesome.
I feel like everybody just wants Sony to drop Marvel, because now I'm being honest. I have no faith in Craven. I have no faith in Madam Web. I'm scared shitless for the next Venom movie because the whole jumping of the universe thing. I mean. Yeah, okay, you know what I mean? They planted the whole seed with the whole symbiote stuff, and that's cool. But I don't know, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for them to drop it.
It just seems like it would make sense if, like I were in Sony's position or whatever personally, take a smaller slice of the pie. Like I know they wanted a certain amount or whatever for, using Spider-Man in the MCU. But okay, so you pull back on that, take smaller amount, and take it across all of the different characters that they own, but let Marvel make all of the movies, and maybe you got some options there. I mean, that's probably the best bet for fucking Sony to get a W out of the situation. Otherwise, they're just gonna have to let the rights go back to Marvel.
See, I think what they're trying to do right now is they're seeing all the success that Marvel's getting, right? So they're trying to step up their game and try to compare themselves to that, and they're falling short every time, man. Like you said, they're not hitting the mark, and it doesn't get you that excitement for Craven and Madam Web as you would for any other Marvel movie. So
Yeah,
maybe they should take a step back and look at that.
I agree, and North 49, I also agree that this was much better for Sony. But I think again, there's two things that I'm just gonna suggest. If Sony does do anything Spider related, I would say start focusing on Spider characters that you can build another universe on. You got Spider-Woman, you know what I mean? You can do all these other characters where, I'm scared shitless that they want to do a Sinister Six. None of this makes any sense if they're trying to tie things into the MCU. So I think either Sony does their own thing because it's clearly not working. It doesn't even line up. The Morbius story, from what I saw all the spoilers, guys. I mean, we do this daily. We're hardcore fans, and seeing how they brought in Vulture, and which was in the trailer. I don't even know why they showed that in the trailer, but they brought in Vulture. I still don't get how it's going to tie. I really think they should just cut it, bring it behind the shed, do what you got to do, and move forward. I
bring it behind the shed.
Yeah, man.
It really feels
Bring
like
the shotgun.
it really feels like they're trying to do anything that they can to attach themselves as much as they can to the MCU. And I mean, it makes sense because that's what's going to make money for them. It's just that, I mean, we're getting shit like Morbius and everything, and they're, people are going to stop going to see it at some point. That's what it's going to come down to. They're going to be throwing money away. So, I mean,
and again, and I know we had seen many posts and things related to Andrew Garfield, but I had said it even out the gate when we were talking all of the Spider-Man No Way Home buildup. I said that the only thing that would make sense moving forward is if Andrew Garfield did get his third movie and they can tie all of that universe to Andrew Garfield, where Andrew Garfield, that's where Morbius is, that's where Venom is, and all of that would make sense. It would give him his redemption at a third movie, and it would also, he would finally get his own alien battle, which they teased in
I'll be perfectly honest though. I mean, all that sounds great, but I don't want to see it at all because I have no confidence in Sony that they won't fuck it up.
Yeah. Let them
I mean,
flop it up. Yeah.
If the rights went back to Marvel or whatever, yeah, okay, great. Give me that. But under Sony, no, I'm good. Thanks. I'll pass.
Yeah. And I just want to say hi to Minnie. Minnie, thank you for being here, bro. I actually saw Minnie today. Went to pick up some books from Minnie. Guys, I can't say it enough. I totally agree. fuck up a bit more, sell the rights back to Disney. I really don't care. I'm just
pretty much.
I'm totally over it. But enough Morbius talk, guys. FaceTime got outbid by $1.
Oh, I was so close.
Can you believe it? On April 7th.
Maybe next time, buddy.
Dude.
Yeah, wow. What are you going to do?
A 9.4 copy of Captain America Comics #1 CGC sold for $3.1 million. Bidding for the comic initially began at 1.8, and it jumped, and it just jumped, and it jumped. Now, guys, do keep in mind, this is the news right now, but this will tie into Trade Center. Mark my words, we're not using this book, but we will be putting up one scenario where it's mega books, and I think it's going to break. It'll break me. I know it's going to break Face. Dude's going to favor one side, but either way, this is a huge sale. This is monstrous sale. I know recently we just had the Marvel Comics at a 2.2, I think it was 2.2 or 2.4 million sale. Can't remember, but
yeah, I believe that was something like that.
But yeah, this shattered that, man, and rightfully so. I think this is a dope book, man. It's history. You can't pass on this,
dude.
What year did this come out? And I'm not too familiar with it, but
40.
Oh, okay.
No, wait. Oh, this is. I'm sorry. This is in the 60s.
In the 60s, I would think, right?
Yeah.
The early 60s.
Yeah. His first appearance.
Kind of doesn't surprise me, honestly. Like, you look at this, you look at AF-15. You know, you see the numbers that's hitting. It doesn't surprise me. People are.
No, yeah, this was the 40s.
Throwing their houses away for this kind of stuff, you know.
I was trying to check the exact year because I know.
Yeah, this was the 40s. Sometime in the 40s because this is Captain America Comics, so this is his first appearance.
Yeah, I'm seeing 1941 and 1940
41
in the chat. So
it's 41.
41, yeah. So yeah, this honestly doesn't surprise me, man. Like I said, people are throwing away their houses and everything in their bank accounts for this kind of stuff. You look at AF-15 and the money that gets, right? And this was before AF-15.
Yeah. Okay. 41. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. It doesn't really surprise me either. I know there's a lot of investment groups that have been moving into comics and picking up a lot of these huge keys and everything, which is a really good sign because I mean, it is bringing some new money into comics, and obviously they are holding the value if investment groups are wanting to pick them up and everything like that. But at the same time, it almost kind of sucks in a sense because you'd rather something like this be in the hands of like a real collector that really wants to own this book. So kind of mixed feelings on that front, but
I can tell you I'm a hardcore collector. We all are. There's no fucking way I could afford any book at 3.1.
right.
Whoever owns it, good for you, baby. But
but I mean, yeah, I'm not really surprised by it. I actually could see it keep going up. I mean, it's just that it's the age we're in, man.
I'm actually surprised. I just saw Dan's comment there. This is his Ultimate Grail from Marvel Golden Age. You got every other book, man. How do you not have this one yet?
Guys, I keep forgetting my news anchor.
Yeah, you gotta pull out your notes.
This is news, guys. This is news. But okay, so Dan, you bring this up saying that this is my Ultimate Grail from the Marvel Golden Age. Now, guys, this sold at $3.1 million. If there's a book that would surpass or shatter this record, or even take the spot as the highest selling,
there's a few.
Yeah, which one would you say deserves to be at the top spot of all comics?
Man, I can give you 3 of them off the top of my head.
Really?
Yeah.
Comic.Dood's thinking. He's going to say Nova 1.
Action Comics.
I wasn't even thinking of that, honestly.
Detective Comics 27.
Yeah.
Amazing Fantasy 15.
Sure.
I mean, you can make a case for a couple others.
Okay.
I'm not going to
disagree.
Honestly,
in fact, I agree with both those books you just said.
I don't quite
3,
agree
but
with
whatever.
DC, but that's just me. I honestly was thinking AF-15, man. Spider-Man's iconic. Everyone loves Spider-Man. I can see, like I said, though, I completely understand and can see where this was fetching its value based on the year and based on Captain America, right? The original Avenger. So this doesn't surprise me, but like you said, if any other book deserves that, I would say AF-15, man, Spider-Man.
Michael Baker, dude, I
right? Pretty much.
as a collector, I want to say no. I hope not, because like shit's gonna get out of reach for us. But
but it is though.
Yep.
It really is. It does apply.
Yeah, and it also touches base on what Ozzy's saying here. Yes, 100%, man. Even if it's an investment
Exactly.
group, it sends a solid message, 100% to the community, bro. That comics is a legit investment, and I keep telling everybody this at the same time, like many times, like even within stocks. You know, I work within residential real estate, which you guys, real estate, you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? But when it comes to, well, you can go wrong if you end up. Anyway, it's a long story, but but when it comes to, like, example, comparing this to stock markets and stuff like that, like, dude, I'm seeing returns even on a small scale. Some people buying, let's say, $1 book, and you end up reselling it at $5, man. Where are you going to see such percentages? You know what I mean, within stocks, and you do that many times over, but it's crazy. And unfortunately, there are books that dip, but all this to say that comics.
You hit the nail on the head. That's why investment groups are getting involved in comics and everything like that, because they are somewhat safe investments. It seems like so.
100%, and it's awesome to see. Like, I'm not surprised, but still surprised to see a transaction go at 3.12 million. And this, if I'm not mistaken, was at the Heritage Auction Group.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's insanity, but it's great for the community, for comics, for all of that, man. So yeah, honestly, you're again, when I say these things to some of my friends and like, yo, I just spent this and I bought that book, and they're like, "What are you
right?
Nuts?" And I'm like, dude, like, trust me, you know what I mean? Like, watch this turn into that, guys.
Yeah,
we're all collectors and we're buying books, you know what I mean? Now we pick up books weekly. I've always had that habit of picking up books weekly. So a book like Edge of Spider-Verse 2, I paid it cover price. I paid it $5 when it came out. Look what happened. You know what I mean? And you're collecting as a fan. You're not. Now the game has changed. You know what I mean? People speculate. Everyone's collecting for whatever reason, and that's totally fine. But it's a prime example how, comics is just a great
investment
hobby and a great investment, unless we're talking, those burner books that, I don't know. I don't want to mention Virus, but it's the first one that comes to my mind because you guys grill it in my head. But
you never know. You can make a comeback someday.
Imagine.
Even with your most simple books, right? Like you said, like you buy a book for $1, $5, just cover, whatever, and then you can turn around and it's got value. Like like you do that over and over and over again, right? It's an investment. You're making money too. Like, I just look at the 2 books I just bought. I bought these both for $5 each. Yeah. eBay right now, they're going 35 to 40. Over time, you never know what might happen. It may just grow as well. It's an investment, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. And Dan said it as well. He mentioned Action Comics 1. I agree, man. I think Action Comics 1, Detective Comics 27, AF 15, those are up there, and with reason. But yeah, so Tim actually had a question, and then I'm just going to bring up some of Ozzy's comments as well. But let's do a quick question. What's the most you've ever paid for a comic book?
I'll go last on this one.
I would actually say that my most recent big purchase, and it didn't even cost me anything. It cost me through a flip. I made the money and just transferred it over for the purchase. Was actually, I think it was my New Mutants 98 in a 9.4. I paid it $500, more or less Canadian, somewhere there, 500, 550 at most. But yeah, that was my big purchase. Otherwise, out of my own pocket to be like, hey, I'm taking it from my savings. I don't think I've done that yet. Everything I've done has always been, okay, I'm grabbing, let's say, this stack, and I'm going to sell this and try to buy something else. I try to make the hobby pay for itself as much as possible. But yeah, man, I don't think I've ever made such a purchase.
Okay, so you go next, man. I got a little bit of a longer explanation to go here, so.
I will say, the books that will cost me, I have a feeling if I'm going out of pocket, it's Iron Man 55, and it's going to be Fantastic Four 49. Those are the 2 that I might go out of pocket for.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest. I actually don't even know offhand. probably around $1,000, somewhere in there.
Okay. So I actually explained this to a couple of guys there yesterday, I believe it was, or 2 days ago. So my whole, thrill of this hobby comes from finding those books in the back issue bins, for cover price, maybe a little less. And then, you pull them out and the value of them is surpassed that, right? And that's where my thrill comes from. Yeah. So believe it or not, I actually have not spent over, at this point, $100 for a comic book because I like to buy low, and have that investment where it's worth a lot more than what I paid for it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would say $100 is the most I've spent on a comic for now. I have been willing, though, in the past when I was like hunting a Nova 1, I was willing to drop 150, maybe 200. But to this day, no, I haven't spent over $100 for a single issue.
So you can tell out the gate, none of us are serious ballers. But speaking of ballers, Vancouver comic junkies in the house, man. This guy has been putting out the fire on Instagram. I absolutely love seeing what he posts. But Chris, bro, thank you for coming to swing by. But I saw Ozzy actually had a question. And guys, I'm seeing what you guys are putting up. Like an AM50 5.5 at 1,600 Canadian. Dude, 100%. That is a grail for me. You know what I mean? Like that's one. Yeah, and $1,600, man. Don't worry about it. Like that book, you can't go wrong.
Claim. Backup claim.
Yeah, you cannot go wrong. But I look, you got many here. Hold on. Hell yeah, man. Totally. So yeah. Ozzy had a question. I'm just trying to find it within the chat. So here it is. So what do you guys think will be the big book from our age, say 80 years from now? Guys, I think without question, as it stands right now, you're looking at Ultimate Fallout 4. I think that's gonna be like already my kid is looking at me and like when he says Spider-Man, he's pointing at Miles Morales, even if they're both on TV.
No way.
Yeah. And it's understandable. A lot of the Disney cartoons right now, he watches Disney Junior. You have Spidey and his amazing friends. What do you think they're pumping? They're pumping Miles, even though Spider-Man's there as the main character. Miles is there. You got Spider-Gwen as well. That's there. So it seems those are the big three. I think those long-term Young Avengers, all these younger characters. I have my reserves about some others like Miss Marvel and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I would say Ultimate Fallout 4, Edge of Spider-Verse 2, man. Those are the two I think in time will definitely continue to grow. And I see it, dude. Even at Comic-Con, we've been shut down for 2 years. I went to Montreal Mini-Con back in December. I was seeing all these little kids, young girls dressed as Spider-Gwen. You know what I mean? So it's awesome to see a lot of Miles Morales and yeah, man. What about you guys?
Those are probably two for me too. So sweet.
I'm gonna have to agree with you as well, man. I was thinking that, or there's in the back of my mind, it gets me thinking, Riri Williams, man, Ironheart, right? Because how big Iron Man was, somebody's gonna take over that mantle. But as soon as you said Ultimate Fallout 4, man, that definitely trumps that. 100%.
All right, guys. Moving on to the next one for news. Now, this is comic related. So, Odin, ya animal. I don't know if you guys heard this, but this one shot dropping in July will dive into Thor's origin story, including the true story of his birth, after we've learned that his mother is Lady Phoenix. So, she's actually on this Avengers team. The other members of this prehistoric Avengers team include Odin, Ghost Rider, Iron Fist, Agamotto. You have Black Panther and Starbrand. Now, we've seen into this 1 million BC within the current Avengers run. We saw Starbrand. We even saw Iron Fist. I'm very intrigued. I'm curious to see what this one shot is going to be setting up. I don't know if you guys heard about this one. Is anyone even on the current Avengers run or?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude, it's interesting, man, and
yeah, it is. It's a little out there.
Yeah, and we find out that Frigga is not Thor's friggin' mother. But we found that out. We found that earlier, and we also find out now that again it's Lady Phoenix. So it's very interesting.
Interesting.
I'm looking forward to seeing what this sets up. Face.
Yeah, man. I think you're just looking forward to seeing the Odin and Phoenix porn. So I mean, that's. I'm not really sure what to expect from this. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it does set up down the road. I feel like they gotta have somewhere that they're aiming to go with this, but
this is probably where he lost his eye, legitimately.
right.
But yeah, no.
I mean, so I'll pick up a copy. I'll wait and see.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of Thor, guys, this has been the talk for the last 2 days. The Thor toys and Voldemort, I think.
That's rough.
Actually, it's the lack of the Voldemortness that people were.
At least he's got a nose there.
But what's funny, dude? Like, this is literally my morning face when I hear my kid crying. Like, I'm not.
He reminds me of fucking man, Reaper from Bill and Ted.
Oh wow, man, that's pretty spot on. But guys, the toys obviously leaked, and there's been lots of talk. Here you go. So, Ravager Thor, pretty badass. I actually saw afterwards that Ravager Thor happened to be the photo that was shared of Thor with what's his name? Why did I just blank on the producer of the movie?
James Gunn?
No.
No, he's the director.
Why do you say his name? The Waitiki, whatever his name is, Waikiki, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Go with that. I don't
Taika
know.
Waititi.
Something like that. Fuck, I can't pronounce his name.
Something like that.
And I'm openly saying I cannot.
I thought you were talking about the Guardians movie.
But okay, Thor looks jacked. Well, Chris Hemsworth, whatever, he looks jacked as hell. Then you see Thor here. What kind of Thor are you guys getting out of this?
Probably none of them, man. Like, I mean,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm don't think I'm picking up. Are you asking me if I'm picking up?
No, what I'm asking you is like, what kind of Thor vibes are you getting from this? Like comic related, you know what I mean? Like, do you get the King Thor vibes, or what are you getting? Because dude, with the whole helmet thing.
Yeah, I'll admit it. To be honest, I'm not sure. Like, I honestly have no idea where they're gonna go with the end of this movie, because I feel like they still want Natalie Portman to have a part, in the future and play in that role as Valkyrie, I think. Yeah. But you also have Tessa Thompson there too. So, both of them have potential too. I mean, in the future. And then of course, I think we're still going to have Chris Hemsworth around as Thor for a while. So I honestly don't know what version of Thor we're going to end up with.
Do you think they're going to phase Tessa Thompson out and bring
No, I can't. I couldn't see that. She fucking killed it. Bro.
Yeah.
She was fantastic.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of hate towards how Gore is being portrayed here. And I'm just going to go through it very quickly. Obviously, you have Mighty Thor, who is also, Jane Foster, which I'm super excited for this. I know everyone is holding a Thor issue 1. I hope you're holding a Thor issue 2. But yeah, man, I'm super excited that they're bringing her to the screen, the big screen, as Thor.
Yeah,
now really cool. You got Groot here as well, Ravager Thor, like I said, Thor, Gore, Star-Lord, and then King Valkyrie. Gore has been getting all the backlash, all of the attention, rightfully so. But
yeah,
what's your take? Because I'm seeing a lot of people mention even they're speculating over the fact that he's got like those black fingernails and the burnt tips on his fingers, kind of like Honda has, and already Spec has been going AWOL. I don't know what to think of it. Honestly, yes, okay, I'm a bit disappointed that it's not exactly like the comic book, because in the comic book he's absolutely badass. I love the whole the black hood and stuff like that, but I mean, I don't really care. And does, Marvel does have the tendency of also, developing characters and their costumes throughout movies. I hope that's the case, but if it's not, does this change your opinion on how they portrayed Gore? Do you feel a certain way?
I'll be quite honest. I'm not too well versed with the Thor series and Gore the God Butcher, so I'm going to be just, when I watch this, going to be like a casual viewer, man, just taking it all in as it's portrayed, right? So I'm kind of excited, because any other time we watch Marvel movies, we all have that, that speculation behind it. We read the series and whatnot, but this is the first one I'm not versed in at all. So I'm actually kind of excited to watch it just as it shows, man, and just take it as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, like, I actually think Vancouver Comic Junkie, he made a comment here in chat that I'll pull up. My bad. Go ahead. Yeah. So I think that's probably pretty close to what we might end up getting. I mean, that's a pretty good theory right there. I think there's potential to see him evolve over the course of the movie, from sort of like what maybe like this will be like an initial look for him or whatever. But the other thing is too, like, they got Christian Bale to play this role.
And it's Christian Bale, bro.
Yeah, I don't really think there was ever really an option of him playing like the Gore, exactly as he was from the comics or anything.
Yeah.
But for me personally, like, I don't even care that much. Like, I mean, it's just, it is what it is. There's going to be differences between the comics and the movies. And obviously some of these characters and their look isn't going to translate over that well or that easily. So it is what it is. This is just a different version of the character for me, I guess. And I'm not going to get that hung up on it.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. See, Uncanny Swag saying the same thing. It's just a figure. You know what I mean? Like, Marvel's been notorious for having characters, start at the beginning of a film. Their costumes will change along the way. Look at Captain America. He went from corny as hell to literally a black, you know what I mean, star on his chest within Infinity War. So I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on it. I think people are overreacting. Let this movie play out. I think it'll evolve. I think CGI will come into play. I at least I hope so. Otherwise, I do agree. It's kind of a funky look for Gore if it stays this way the whole way. Necrosword being in the MCU, I'm actually excited about that. I know everybody does speculate and tie this to Null. Hopeful. I'm very hopeful. But I still think we're years and years away before getting any of that. So
yeah, we got time. They don't need to be in any hurry on Null. They got plenty of stories to tell. But hell, I mean, if they can make it work and make it make sense.
Exactly. And I know because obviously I couldn't be on the show with you guys last night with Newbie, but Face, I know you guys were also discussing the possibility of a trailer possibly dropping either today, which unfortunately it did not, and maybe coming out at a later date. Now, I really think that there's a
Strange movie.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're holding back. I really think come the Doctor Strange movie, I hope that, having premiere tickets, I hope everybody got their tickets, but I really hope that once we sit down in the theater, bang, that's when we're going to get the trailer. And then people are going to be like, holy shit. You know what I mean? The old school way. I would love that. No leaks on TV, no leaks on nothing. Just I'm positive Doctor Strange movie is going to have an impact to some degree. I at least hope so, as to why they're holding this back. But who knows? We might even get it Easter weekend, right? So
possible.
All right, guys. So that being said, that was the Comic News Network.
Throw it up one more time.
Kingpins News Network. Nowhere close to an actual network.
Idiots.
Complete fucking tools, but
Degenerates.
Love it.
yes. I love the idiots at the end. Who did the voice, man?
Right.
Pretty good. So guys,
So fitting.
that being said, that was the first ever Kingpins News Network. I think this is something we're going to bring back weekly. So yeah, it's just fun times. Yeah, man. But that being said, we got the news out of the way. We got some time left, just a bit of time left before we say bye to you guys and encourage you to go watch Pressable Defects, go watch Team Nerd Herd. Tons of good content come Monday nights. But guys, one more segment. That little goat sound at the end.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. So guys, this is the big one. Like I said, we had a big sale that went down. It was Captain America #1, sold at 3.1 or was it 3.2 million? We just spoke about it, man. You see, dad brain's kicking in. It's no, it's like there's video evidence here of now. My wife's gonna be like, you see, you forget everything. But
She's not wrong.
She is not wrong. But yes, okay. So like I said, there was a big sale that went down. So we figured, guys, we're not gonna go and put up a ton of slides. Face brought this to my attention. He's been sending me this trade scenario for weeks, and I just keep dodging.
I'm ducking my trade. I'm
100% ducking it because it's one that is.
Dodge, dip, dive, and dodge.
This is a small trade, nothing serious,
I just feel like it's gonna hurt me because then I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna be like, oh, but maybe, but no, guys.
Tear the Band-Aid off.
One trade. Here we go. Tearing off the Band-Aid. So let's pretend these are both CGC 9/8 candidates. Okay. I couldn't find any on the internet, and I don't think.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any out there. So, guys, Amazing Fantasy 15. First appearance of Spider-Man, Aunt May, Uncle Ben, Flash Thompson versus Detective Comics 27. First appearance of Batman. Guys, first off, Face, you suck.
Yeah.
Man.
You suck, bro.
So luckily, I get to introduce this and then give myself time by asking you guys, what are you gonna pick? Dude, and we all know how you feel, but come on, let's be real here.
I'm trying to come up with something, thoughtful to say about this. But we all know where my answer is going to swing.
Yeah.
I believe it or not, Kyle. I tweaked my back earlier this week or last week, swinging a sledgehammer. So that's why he's putting that there. In this.
I thought you hurt yourself pretending to be Batman or something.
Yeah. In my dreams, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, I got to give credit to Face. I've always bashed DC, and I've taken it upon myself to ask some people, for some recommendations, reading some DC books. So you put me on Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run, and so I've actually been reading that lately, and I'm starting to enjoy it, man. Maybe DC does have some potential.
Yeah.
But then now you're asking me for Spider-Man or Batman. Like, come on, that's a whole.
Well, it's really what it comes
down to. That's a whole
to.
different ballgame, bro.
Who do you have faith in for the next remaining 70 plus years of your life?
The same person I've had faith in the last 10 years in the movies.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to have to be Spider-Man, bro.
All right.
That's the ultimate grail, at least for myself. And it will continue to be. So I'm going to have to go with Amazing Fantasy 15 all day, man. Especially we're talking 2 9.8s. Yeah, I understand, Detective Comics. But fucking Spider-Man, bro.
Well, this is my trade, so I get to go last this time. BC, batter up.
Oh, fuck up.
Oh, there it is.
You don't get to do this. Oh, look at that. Whoopsie. But yeah, no, dude, it is tough, man, because, dude, okay, 2 of the most iconic characters of all time. 2 of my favorite characters of all time. Well, I would say there was a point where it dipped off with Batman. But and I will say recently it's dipped off in comics with Spidey. It's just been rough to read. But I would trade my entire collection if I could own Amazing Fantasy 15. I've said this out the gate. But dude, Detective Comics 27. You know how much that thing it would be worth? I question. Okay, so both in a 9.8, which one do you think would command more money?
I honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say Detective Comics.
Oh, yeah. All day. Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still going with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Hey, Michelle, no stress. Happy you made it, man. But,
so who's
I'm sweating.
Who's your final?
Literally, I'm wearing antiperspirant, bro. Fuck. Dude. Ugh. Amazing Fantasy. It's Amazing Fantasy. And it's, again, I would be honored to have any of these, even in a fucking 0.0001, if that even exists. But dude, proud as hell to display any of these. I would be more than, like I said, I'd trade my entire collection to own either. But AF-15 would mean the world to me, man. Just as a huge Spidey fan, it's what got me into comics. So it would only be the rightful thing that if I traded everything throughout my years of collecting and own that, then I feel like that would be the book for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, so real quick before I give my answer, I
no.
just want to say real quick, actually, a message to Moonlit in chat. She just came in. I saw we did not get the slide finished for that trade scenario for this week, so we're actually going to be adding it to next week. So you got a heads up on what's coming next week.
There you
But
go.
Anyway, back to this one.
J2.
Yeah, both of these are great books. I mean, look, you couldn't go fucking wrong having either one of them in your collection. Captain America Comics just hit 3.1 million, and both of these are probably going to do a little better if they were out there in a 9.8, you know. So, it's a win either way.
Yeah.
That being said, me personally, I think as far as having faith in a particular property, and this is why it gets really interesting, because you got Batman on one hand, who, you know, obviously he's Batman, people love him, and we're gonna go see his movies, but at the same time he's attached to the DCEU, which is kind of a fucking mess. And you know,
but fuck the movies, man. These are
no. I understand.
But that all comes into consideration, though, too. Movies, your favorite characters, everything, man.
Exactly. On the other hand, you know, with Spider-Man, you know, you got him. He's part of the MCU and everything like that, and that's fucking fantastic. But at the same time, Sony does have the rights from him, so that carpet could be pulled out, you know, as far as the movies anytime. I don't see that happening, but you know, they could do something that kind of fucks up what, you know, Spider-Man is doing as far as the MCU. In the comics, you nailed it perfectly on the head, BC. Right now, Spidey's a little suspect, whereas Batman has been fairly solid. I mean, right now they're going through some creative changes and everything, but you know, Tynium was killing it. I think Zdarsky is going to be fantastic on it. So, man, it's a real tough decision, and it all just comes down to personal taste, I think, because you're not going to lose on either one.
No.
So for me, I think the big factor is got to be the age and the fact that, there's like somebody mentioned it in chat earlier, maybe 250 copies of Tech 27. So I'm going to lean towards that direction, you know. Yeah. I love Amazing Fantasy 15, and it's got, honestly, I think it's more of an iconic cover, but
it is. Well, don't get me wrong, man. There's been many homages of Detective Comics 27.
For sure. But not like Amazing Fantasy 15.
Oh, dude, as long as we don't get any more ASM 300s, that one's been...
man, those are getting annoying now, I won't lie.
Yeah, dude, like...
too many, dude.
Overkill. But I don't disagree with anything you're saying. And taking, like I said, taking everything movie-related out of the equation, I understand why most would be going Detective Comics 27. Like I said, this is the one that makes me sweat. But as a collector, feeling accomplished, again, Spider-Man got me into comics. If I had to cash out for that one book, I'd be like, hey, you know, I finally got it, and I'd be happy. But otherwise, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. Detective Comics 27 is, it's you cannot pass it, and it's hard to even pass. Here I am trying to justify my fucking answer and trying to like come to terms with it, but yeah, man. So guys, that was it. That was a one trade scenario. Now, before everybody steps out, we actually have some big announcements we want to make. First and foremost, April 18th, we have the community hangout show that's going to be taking place. So guys, we have started to put together the list of names. We're going to start reaching out to people. Guys, some of you are even in this chat, so do expect us to invite you guys. We just want to hang out with the community. It makes 6 months exactly to the date since we launched Comic Kingpins. So we only felt, hey, that's how we launched. It would be fitting if we just have a hangout. If you guys want to be part of it, feel free, reach out, man. Let us know. We will do everything, go above and beyond to make sure that we try to fill up with everybody's requests. But we just want to hang out. Whether you've been on YouTube or haven't been on YouTube, feel free, man. Reach out.
Make your debut,
man.
You guys all know how much fun we had last time we did the community show and had a bunch of people on. So
exactly, and never ever forget that the comic Kingpins are just 5 comic fans that are here for the comic fans, man. So us just shooting the shit with you guys, whether it's on stream or Instagram or whatever, man. It's an absolute pleasure. So guys,
Absolutely.
that's announcement number 1. Now, number 2, you guys are very aware that we do our retrospect show. This month, it's actually going to be moved to May 2nd. So May's going to have 2 retrospects. So we'll be dropping a photo with on our Instagram, asking you guys to choose the years we're going to go back to. We did that last month. Man, it was a blast. We hit up so many random years. So if you guys want to, send us random years, go as far back as you please. It's just a great
comics exist and are easily, or not easily, but at least somewhat researchable.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So like I said, retrospect, given that there's also, I believe, 5 Mondays within the month of May. May 2nd is going to be retrospect for books of April, and then we're going to do May's books on May 30th, okay? So just so everybody's aware, not asking us, hey, what the hell happened to retrospect? It's happening, but we have big news later. Yeah, on the community show, there's going to be a huge announcement for what's going to be taking place the following week. So do come hang out, come check it out, stay in the loop. But yeah, man, we are excited to drop that information with all of you.
Did you just Todd McFarlane? You just announced an announcement.
No. Shh, don't tell them. Don't tell them.
He did.
But yeah, man, do get used to seeing some people hop on with us, writers, creators. It's fun, man, just to hear these perspectives. And shout out to the creators of Code 45. I'm so happy they joined us tonight. Cool little, yeah.
Can't wait to pick that up.
Yeah, we got to dip into their minds and how it came about, and we highly recommend it. The FOC code is in our description of this video, so do go check it out. If you haven't, go pre-order, because FOC for that book is tonight. It may have been missed, but like I said,
there's still chances though. I've been lucky a couple times with calling the shop the day after, and they can adjust their orders depending on how soon after the FOC
and even if they can't, maybe they might have ordered more than
So guys, like I said, next week is going to be the community hangout show, and whenever we do such events like that, you guys already know this is where we get to do giveaways and shit like that. So do come and hang out. I get to use this video again.
You win, Ali.
I love it, man. OG Bob Parker, yeah, he's the bomb, man. He's the bomb. So guys, that's it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you to Benjamin and Angela from Code 45 for joining us. We hope you liked. Hold on, where is it? Hold on.
Kingpins News Network. Nowhere close to an actual network.
Idiots. I do want to mention one quick thing though too.
Yes.
We haven't decided on what day we're going to do it yet, guys, but we have decided that we're going to do a recent haul show at least once a month.
Yes.
And we're going to make it live because you guys voted. You guys decided you wanted the live show. So we're going to do a 1-hour live show once a month and show our recent hauls, our recent pickups. Because I know I got a full short box of recent hauls, guys.
But yeah, AOA, man. Hey, if you want to come on the show and do that, bro, man.
All up to you, man. But yeah, we're going to figure out a time and a day. Oh, sorry, not a time. We're going to figure out a day. And we'll have some recent hauls for you guys. But stay tuned for that.
Thank you for reminding myself and them. We've stopped with the showing off our hauls because we will be bringing that back monthly, man. So thank you, Comic.Dood. I totally forgot. Yes, all Novas.
Not all Novas though this time, man. Not all Novas.
Yeah, but them Novas, they're hitting now.
Yeah, a little bit Novas in the haul. Right? I won't lie, okay? Maybe more than half.
Comic.Dood's cashing out. He's cashing out.
You know it.
Yeah. But guys, so that was the show. Thank you for hanging out with us. We hope you had a good Monday, guys. We got Moon Knight coming up on Wednesday, so I'm excited to have that conversation next.
I'm pumped for that show.
And yeah, man. So like I said, check out Pressable Defects. Go check out Team Nerd Herd after this. And guys, there's so much content going on after us. But enjoy, man. Enjoy your night. Thank you. We love you. We will see you at the
yes. Hold up, BC. Before you get out of here, just remember, Hyper's not here tonight.
Oh yes,
because he's checking out his books at the local library.
Oh.